10 years ago, if you ask a climate scientist if there is like a super typhoon coming, could this typhoon of this strength be attributed to climate change? They would probably have answered no. No single event can be attributed to climate change at that time.
Translation of this climate information to actionable decisions is one of the most remaining challenge to us scientists.
When you talk to people in the community, usually sabihin nila malayo yan sa bituka.
Ten, 15 years ago, we already knew that the climate change is already increasing the frequency and severity of extreme events. Wala pang enough evidence to claim that a single extreme event can be attributed to climate change. Well, fast forward to today, we can already put some number to it.
A lot of our students and stakeholders still do not know what climate change is. When you talk to people in the community, usually sabihin nila malayo yan sa bituka.
Achieving the diverse information needs of decision makers as they seek to understand and address climate change, and acquiring the needed scientific knowledge and translating climate information to impacts and make it useful to decision makers are some of the formidable challenges to scientists for the past 10 years. So both for national and global. So responses to climate change should be informed by best possible scientific knowledge. So translation of this climate information to actionable decisions is one of the most remaining challenge to us scientists.
To be able to get what can be done, what are the recommended things that can be done, that is data-based, that is science-based. I think you can find that in the SPC. So when you read the SPC, there are, aside from giving us the data, aside from providing us, this is what happens from this year to the next year, what can be done? And the recommendations are data-based, the recommendations are very scientific. It's a culmination of a lot of knowledge that have been gathered, a lot of researches.
OML has paved the way in reaching out more users and communicating our climate change information.
I remember this lola, I think from Palo. So I gave her yung SPC, and then she saw the cover of the State of the Philippines Life. And then sabi niya, "Uy, thank you. Parang may matututunan ako. So parang I will have something to learn from about our climate." Kasi given that what they have experienced, parang, diba, they were surprised with what happened with Yolanda. They were that much aware about typhoons and climate, storm surge, and all that. So, and I can vividly remember as she was flipping through the pages of SPC, she had one of the most genuine and childlike appreciation of a printed material I've ever seen. So I couldn't ask for a better review than that.
We need to put forward that there is really a connection between climate change and a lot of the vulnerabilities that are happening now in the Philippines. We are very much affected by climate change because we're economically vulnerable. We are physically vulnerable. We are socially vulnerable. So, and climate change aggravates those vulnerabilities. I think we need to make the people understand so that they can demand accountability also to the people who makes the policies. Because otherwise, climate change will always be an excuse that it's happening because of climate change. We cannot do something about it because it's climate change. And I think that is something that we need to change.
We envisioned also that our environment right now is approaching a critical and irreversible threshold regarding its natural resources. And it is our responsibility to take care and put the necessary measure for the future generation.
For the country as a whole, from being one of the most vulnerable to becoming one of the most resilient. So yun yung biggest hope.
Climate change science in the coming decades will be needed to be more more integrative than in the past. Because of the complexities and uncertainties in climate change, actions and strategies will need to be periodically reviewed and revised as needed to take advantage of new information and knowledge, not only about by climate change, but climate-related changes, but also about the effectiveness of the responses being made.
Climate publications themselves achieve their main goals, which is to disseminate climate information and raise climate awareness. However, what these publications are trying to initially address is just the tip of the iceberg. The greatest challenge now is how to translate this climate knowledge into a collective climate action. Hopefully, policymakers, local government officials, and other stakeholders consider this climate information in making informed decisions.
The pressure is there, but we need to push. We need to put forward this is the right direction. And I pray that OML will still be there to be one of the institutions pushing the correct data in climate science. I also hope that the OML will have more partnership with universities because the universities has a lot of resources in terms of linkages, in terms of communities, in terms of students. And I have a lot of hopes that given the proper education, our students will be able to put the right people in the right places in due time.
I sincerely hope that the center will continue to tell the story of how the Filipinos are taking action and are adapting to climate change. And also at the same time, demonstrating that such an organization can actually easily adapt to the changes and the challenges that lies ahead. I hope that the center will become a living proof that co-production actually works, and that it will be able to share a framework on how co-production paved the way in translating knowledge to action.
But now is the time to consider appropriate action. I hope Filipinos will be more committed in protecting our environment and be more involved in advocating climate action. Let us put in mind that no step is a small step if we take action now. We can inspire others to save our planet and leave a better future for the next generation.